Hey everyone, I'm Mike. I'm an aspiring professional artist and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 different tips that you can use to help you develop your own style. Let's get started. Number 1, and this is the most important tip, make sure you understand the fundamentals. The analogy I would like to give here is building a house. If you try to build a house without the foundation, without the wood beams that run throughout it, what do you get? You get a flimsy shack that will more than likely blow over after the first strong storm. It doesn't matter how beautiful the exterior of the house may appear, there's something fundamentally wrong with it, and it will eventually show its true colors. This is why, for instance, you may be able to create a really beautiful eye, a mouth, and a nose when you draw them individually. But when you go to put it on a head, it looks kind of strange. That's because the fundamentals aren't quite there. You might not have the proportions correct, things of that nature. You can see, for instance, for me, I practice the fundamentals weekly on my channel by doing gesture drawing for my live streams. I do that for 2 reasons. 1, it's a great opportunity to connect with all of you and answer any questions you may have. And 2, it's enhancing my fundamentals every time I put pen to canvas, thus improving my ability to learn something new. This is the first step from pulling from other styles that will help you create your own. I went over the fundamentals in a video about a month or 2 ago, and I will put a card up for that video as well. Number 2, copying. This is actually what you see me kind of doing here. I'm actually copying somebody else's style and kind of using another character to help me do that. So once you have the fundamentals down, start to do some studies. Find your favorite artists and see if you can copy their work. When you are copying their work, make sure you use the fundamentals to guide you. For instance, with the head, you should be using whatever method you typically use for the head and adjusting to the style accordingly. Your goal here is to learn how to deconstruct what you are seeing and create a likeness. Now, this doesn't mean you copy one artist and say that's my style now and post up the art without showing the reference you used. These are studies, not original works. Copying allows you to see if you can use the fundamentals on something that isn't a typical human body or face. At this point, you will actually start to store information in your brain on how people make the choices that they make and why they make them. That is really what style is. Choices people make on how to simplify different aspects of a subject. So study multiple other artists by copying a specific pose, head angle, copying their clothing folds, their colors, etc. Number 3, reconstruction in different angles. Now that you've deconstructed the style that you're copying from, you want to move to reconstructing that style in different angles. I actually have a whole video dedicated to this specific step because I felt it was that important. This is probably the second most important step in this process. The reason why I feel that way is because it'll allow you to recreate a style that you've developed for yourself in different angles later on down the road. My recommendation for practicing this is to pick your favorite characters and construct their faces, their bodies, whatever you are copying from, in a fairly simple angle a few times. Then keep the reference of the simple angle near you and start a more complex angle. Use the simple angle just to guide you on the basics. You don't want to expand into imaginative work while you're doing this step. It's essential that you're just working on the skill of reconstructing the subject to the best of your ability and not memorizing the reconstruction, at least not yet. Rinse and repeat this process with different styles that you enjoy. You also want to take note of the things that you actually enjoy drawing as well. Just because you like the way that a style looks doesn't mean you are going to like the process of drawing that specific style. That's the case for me in a lot of different styles, and I learned that lesson the hard way. Number 4, mix and match. This is really fun, in my opinion. This part of the process is probably the most fun. Start to work on constructing a style for yourself. Take the different pieces of what you like from other artists aesthetically and what you enjoy drawing and start to mash them up a bit. Don't just settle with one style, do several. And what I mean by that is don't just mix and match once and just be like, okay, this is it, this is my style. try a few different mixes and matches and see which one you actually enjoy. In this phase, keep the head angle simple. There's no need to do an ant's eye view, for instance, of the face. And I'm saying head angle, I'm just kind of using heads as the kind of example for here, but you can do this with anything, right? I kind of explained that earlier, clothing, what have you. But just do a simple front and 3/4 view, for instance. At this stage, the way that you'll know if you're ready to do this is if you can create a style that looks as convincing and anatomically correct as the other artists that you've been copying or learning from. If it doesn't look right or it doesn't seem professional enough, the odds are you aren't quite ready yet, and that's okay. Take your time. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself into having a style as soon as possible. That's because if you do that, then you're not going to learn later on down the road. Style is a byproduct of you understanding the fundamentals. Mark Brunet actually did a video on this very topic recently. But if you kind of have a style and you stick to it no matter what, and you're really, really stubborn about it, it's actually really bad for your development as an artist. You should always be open to enhancing your style and learning new things about human anatomy, clothing, folds, color theory, etc. That's the only way to move towards professionalism. Last but not least, number 5, imaginative studies. So after you've mixed and matched different styles and found the Frankenstein that you enjoy the most, it's time to see if you can actually create a world with that style. Start to work on character creation. Draw a few different original characters, see if they look similar enough to be in the same world, but also look different enough to be their own characters. Draw these characters in different poses, head angles, etc. Use the first 3 steps of this process to guide you. If you can do those first 3 steps, you should be able to do this. Start with simple poses and angles. Use that as a reference for your more complicated poses and angles. The most important part of the entire process is whether or not you enjoy the process of creating these characters and whether or not you like the Frankenstein that you've created. If the answer to both of those questions is yes, then congratulations, you have officially created a style. Alright everyone, I hope that you enjoyed that video and I hope that it was helpful for you. So just as a recap, I think that creating a style is very fun. It's awesome too. It feels really good once you have it and it's something that's yours, right? But don't pigeonhole yourself too early and don't feel like just because now that you've created a style that you have to stick to it to the T, right? Allow yourself flexibility, allow yourself to learn more as you develop your manga or your comic or whatever you're doing, right? As you design characters, make sure that you allow yourself that space to grow, because the moment you say this is my style and I'm not moving from it is the moment that you kind of kill your career. You have to be willing to be open to change as an artist, because nobody's art is perfect, and the only way that you can improve is to be open. And no improvement means no growth. No growth means no more followers, no more people that are going to read your work, no more people that are going to look at your characters and like all those kinds of things. So allow yourself that room to grow. Always be willing to learn and continue to draw. All right, I'm Manga Mike, and I'm out.